Hey guys, welcome to a recap of Big Brother season 25, episode 3. And already I have a title for this one. This show is doing way too much, way too soon. We haven't even got into knowing everybody, and already we are canceling people. Yeah, there is already a controversy in the Big Brother universe, and we have to let someone go, but it's not going to be addressed further until next episode. This is about Luke, and we'll get into it because Luke barely made a splash in the Big Brother universe here. So, Luke, over here, this guy, he has been removed from the Big Brother house because he made such an inappropriate comment while talking to Corey and Heisem, and pretty much he said the N word, y'all. He said the N word so casually in a conversation as if he says this all the time. He tried to kind of take it back and try to, excuse it. But of course, Big Brother, as they should, do not tolerate such language. And I do not believe, given that in this climate, in the Big Brother universe, where we have still firsts being entered into the Big Brother house, like for example, Jag, our first Sikh, and for other minorities who are in the Bravo, not the Bravo, the Big Brother house, for them to still have to deal with such issues, given that it's typically easy for the standard white person in the Big Brother house. No, 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 no. And we do not tolerate. So I can't wait to see how they could come out the Big Brother house. And I don't even want to hear what he has to say. I'm just so curious to everyone's reaction to that and how that impacts the game as well as the dynamics of everyone in this house. Because I'm pretty sure with any controversy, it creates a formation of a group. Like we've seen before on Big Brother, where we had the cookout that was an alliance, a strong secret alliance where African American contestants bound together and took this to the end to get our first minority win. So I'm so curious to hear more about this. I want to hear what Miss Julie Chang got to say about this. I know she does not tolerate, and she will give us a great address to address the situation. So goodbye, Luke. We're not interested, and I'm happy you had such a short stay. So goodbye. And trust me, the Big Brother cult will remember this, and I'm it sucks that for you that you were such a big fan of this show, because to go out like this, wow. I just find it weird that he said it so casually, like it was nothing, like this was part of his speech. And I used to think he was interesting a little bit. I mean, I don't want to get too much into him, but he was an artist. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna find much work to do now because he works on commission. So, honey, Luke, sorry, not sorry, but goodbye, okay? So, what we are gonna do, guys, is that we're gonna say goodbye to Luke and we're gonna highlight Jag, our first Sikh in Big Brother, and him opening up and being vulnerable to the house guests, to particularly Hysim, and also two other guests, house guests as well, about his experience as being a Sikh man and the adversities he has gone through and all the prejudice too that he has experienced and he, considered when he was deciding on whether to go on to this show. Now, with Jag, Jag should just be himself. I don't even want to see him as a Sikh or the first Sikh person on Big Brother. I just want him to be just himself and just live in this experience just like any other house guests do in this show. Now, he is not in out of reality, out of touch that he is a Sikh person. So he does acknowledge, the hardships, especially after 9/11. But his house guests are nothing but embracing and warm and welcoming to him. So I appreciate him and his purpose on being on this show. And also, he is scheming and plotting and planning. He is such a clever guy. He's another one that I feel like the house guests got to keep their eyes on in terms of strategic play, because he is making all the calls with the right people, particularly with Riley. Like, him and Riley have formed an alliance and they want to solidify themselves to going all the way to the end, to the top two. Okay, so I like this, but they get more creative with this. Now, him and Riley, they bring in other players as well. They bring in America, they bring in Blue, they bring in a couple of other house guests as well. They bring in Jared. Jared seems to be the common denominator in people wanting him to be a part of their alliance. But you guys know that if you call in Jared into an alliance, of course he's going to get back to Mama Siri and run and tell her about what's going on. And that doesn't seem to end in favor of the alliance that just had formed. But the alliance that Jag and Riley is forming, the people who are staying in the scary room, those, they actually generally seem like an actual alliance. They get along, they naturally hang out together. They seem to trust one another, as opposed to the alliance that we heard about, the Flanks Five that was created by Luke and Christian. That wasn't such a real genuine alliance. But this one, it is completely, it seems really, really genuine. And also, but the thing is, the issue with that is that it's being noticed by others as well, particularly with Velocity, and other house guests as well are noticing that certain groups of people always hang out together and talk. So while Riley and Jag have started a really good thing called Scary Hands Alliance, it may not last long. And we have to watch and see how this, goes throughout this journey in Big Brother. Now, let's get a little bit with Riley, because Riley, she's feeling a little nervous, but right now, our guy Jack is in such a great spot. He has his core alliance with Riley, and he has other friends that he can trust, such as, like, for example, Heisem. He can trust Blue. He can trust, so far, a lot of people in the Big Brother house. So let's move on to Riley, because Riley, she is getting into a lot of things. And honey, do not make the same mistake as Kristen did, okay? So let's get into Riley. Now, starting the episode, Riley made it super clear in her diary and to us as viewers that she wants to make sure that the votes stay the same. Remember, she was ahead of HOA and she had Velocity and Kirsten as those on the block. So now those on the block are relying to win veto power to remove themselves off the chopping block and to save the behinds. So Riley is making sure that she has everything set up so the votes are, so everyone stay on the same page. So she, of course, she made a core alliance with Jag, and she is the one who kind of lead the squad in forming the Scary Hands click group. So she is not one to mess with it. She's getting her hands dirty and doing all the work and really trying to convince everyone to work together as a team, to be strong as a team, and to move forward as a team. Now, that doesn't say that she doesn't form outside alliances aside from those in the group. For example, she aligns herself with Corey. Corey is a good person to align yourself with. And, she already has set up the foundation work with that previously when she saved him out of being on the chopping block. So, Miss Riley, she is super strategic, and I feel like she is baby Siri. But I think the difference between her and Siri is that she's getting too much in the mix. She's getting too involved. Okay. And not everyone is liking her decisions, particularly Velocity and Kirsten, because with Velocity, she feels like she does not want to be the pawn. Now, Riley is trying to reassure Velocity that she is just a pawn. The main focus is to get Kristen out of the house because everyone is in agreement that Kristen should not stay because she is doing too much, even though Riley is doing too much too as well. So, of course, Riley is trying to maintain this and have this be the goal of today's episode. So, we are going to see, I will get into how everything gets played out. So, let's get now into Miss Velocity a little bit because I know she got something to say. Now, while Velocity is not feeling her situation as being a pawn, she does have a little bit of security. Reminding you guys, let me remind you that Miss Siri kind of gives comfort to Velocity. They have been in communication, they have been in talks, and we're going to see Velocity soon get into her own alliance, a proper alliance, and we'll see as that develops. But right now, she says for herself that she is going to fight for a veto win so she could, take things into her own destiny and not just take the back seat as she should. Now, as opposed to her, Kirsten, she is going through a lot because she is going through her first betrayal. She thought she was in alliance with Riley, so she's a bit upset that Riley put her into the chopping block or didn't remove her from the chopping block. So Christian, she said, don't cut her out. She is ready to fight. She wants to prove everyone at home that she hasn't given up and she really wants to win this whole competition. Now I don't know how she comes up from here, because she did kind of left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So I feel like what she has to do now is to kind of remove herself as being the threat, or what she can do is have everyone keep her because she'll always be the threat, the person that the people don't really necessarily want her to be there. So that could be her strategy moving forward. But as opposed to having trust with anybody, she has to kind of work from the ground up in that and really go to the right people to kind of establish her credibility in this game. So it's not going to be easy for these two, but it's not over. We do have a veto competition to get into. So one of them can be safe. But will they? We know the answer, but let's keep it exciting. So let's move on to the whole situation, y'all. The biggest situation for me is that I feel like the cast is not properly addressing the elephant in the room. We have Siri, a vet in this game, a vet who knows how to get to the top, who knows how to get to the end, still in this game. And no one has discussed really how they're gonna get Siri out. But I am curious, y'all, because Corey has me fascinated. Corey, I don't know if it was wise for him to do this, but he expressed to Siri how much of a fan that he is of Siri and how he respects her gameplay. Now, I don't know if this is a tactic, but I see the wheels churning. I see that mind, that young mind thinking, okay, like Siri is in this game. I gotta beat Siri. Siri is your biggest competition as of right now because she knows this game in and out. So I don't know how long or who's gonna call the first hits, but I think Miss Siri, she sees Corey on her hit list if he does not align himself with her game strategy. Because if he's opposing her or if he makes any inkling that he's going to go after Jared, Corey may be eliminated. And Siri, she doesn't do the dirty work. She sets up the mind games to get the people do what she wants them to do. Because y'all, she even runs her son. Her son doesn't even get a proper say on, to make all the call and all the moves. The puppet master is Siri, and I'm gonna show you why pretty much. So Siri talks to her son Jared, and Jared expresses and shares with her how he has been talking to others, Riley, Jag, um, and some other folks that are part of this whole alliance that mom is not in. So of course Siri is not feeling this at all because this alliance does not include her at all, and she finds that to be a threat. So with this piece of information, she and Velocity and Izzy, also with Bowie, they form pretty much an alliance called the Bye Bye Bitches. Okay, so we have another group that is forming and developing under Miss Siri as the puppet master. So these two groups that don't know each other, but Siri is aware of the other group, the Scary Hands 5. So it's gonna be interesting to see how now votes will come down to play because we don't have everyone participating. For example, Red, he makes an appearance and makes us laugh and give us a moment, but it wasn't much of him in this episode. So we'll see how everything, all the pieces fall. Of course, when Siri's working a group, she has to bring along Izzy. So Izzy is so fortunate enough that she recognizes Jared as being Siri's son. But the others, I don't know how this is gonna plan out, like how this is gonna pan out, because it's gonna be quite split. I need to see McCall into a group properly, Red into a group properly. Who else is out of the picture in terms of group? I think it's just these two. These two are gonna be weeded out. So now that we have two major alliances forming, Siri also covers more ground. So Siri, she's gonna get into it. She's gonna get into it. So with veto competition coming up, Siri tells Hisam about a whole situation about the alliance going on and how she feels that, these people will not save Hisam. So Hisam is now on alert to really do what he can to make sure he has control of the veto vote. So, with that being said, in the veto challenge, what they had to do is pretty much set up the structure of flowers into a bouquet. Of course, there's gonna be interference along the way, which does interfere with the work because at some moments I really thought Kirsten had this. I thought this was her opportunity, but it wasn't. It was Hyacinth's turn, and he wins the veto power, and he actually decides to keep the nominations the same. So Velocity and Kirsten are still up for chopping, and that's what we're gonna get to see now, where the votes fall. Now I'm so curious to see how this split is gonna go down. Now the new episode's coming up on Thursday, which is tomorrow, and I definitely will be covering that to see how things are gonna go down. Of course, Luke is not gonna be on that episode because he is dismissed. But y'all, I just think that in this whole situation, we are gonna really see how the votes show where everyone lies and where all the true alliances are, because we do have some straggles, some of the people who haven't chose a side, just watching the game happen, and others are in the game making the game happen. So I can't wait to really see the gameplay, the game strategy after the next Big Brother episode. So I want to know so far, who do you guys think is gonna be at the end? As at least let's talk about top four. I'm thinking it's gonna be Riley, Jag, of course Miss Siri, and Jared. Jared, she could bring him along. I don't want to count out Blue in America. America is smart, but she keeps it undercover. Heisem shows that he can play and can play to win because he's been keeping it tight and wins. He's been super close to win, and this was his first actual win. Now, Corey, I'm curious about Corey because maybe he's going to be the one who comes for Siri and it is not shy. I can't imagine being a fan of someone and then taking them out. That is just legendary in itself. So I can't wait to see that. And guys, I want to know what you guys think. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, share as much kindness as possible. Stay tuned for the next Big Brother episode, which is going to drop, if not tomorrow, the day after that. Okay, so bear with me, let me know what you guys think of this recap down in the comments down below. I can't wait to read what you guys have to say. So take care, and I'll see you soon.